The sky was beginning to change. The soft colors of dusk blended with the clouds that were gradually forming on the horizon. It was the end of another day by the Sea of Galilee, a large lake surrounded by mountains and known for its sudden weather changes. Jesus had spent the entire day teaching the crowd. His words touched hearts like no other. With him, the simple became sacred. A field with seeds, a man casting a net, a lit lamp, all gained new meaning when they came from his mouth. People drew near with a thirst to hear more. His words brought life. They healed invisible wounds. They strengthened the weary. In the simplicity of his parables were eternal truths. And on that day, like so many others, many were transformed just by listening to him. Jesus didn't just speak, he saw people. He saw beyond appearances. He touched the inner being. But as evening fell, with a tired body and a soul in perfect peace, Jesus looked at his disciples and said, "Let us cross over to the other side of the lake." A simple sentence, but full of purpose. Without questioning, the disciples prepared the boat. Many of them were fishermen used to those waters. They knew the tides, the winds, the currents. For them, that crossing was common, routine. Nothing seemed threatening. As the boat glided over the calm waters, the wind was gentle and the sky still held golden hues. Jesus, tired, lay down at the back of the boat, resting his head on a cushion, and fell asleep. It was a peaceful, deep sleep, like that of someone who fully trusts. Sleeping was the one who upholds the universe, but who also knew the fatigue of the human body. He, who was both God and man, rested as someone who knows everything is under control. But then, the unexpected happened. The wind began to blow strongly. Suddenly, thick clouds covered the sky. Waves began to form and grow quickly. The Sea of Galilee, as was common, had been overtaken by a sudden storm. What was once calm now turned to chaos. Water flooded the boat. The disciples rowed, shouted, tried to keep control. But everything seemed in vain. The force of nature was overwhelming. Fear took over. Even the most experienced, those who had faced difficult nights at sea, now trembled. It was as if the sea itself had turned against them. And in the midst of that despair, Jesus slept. Yes, he was still sleeping. The image is almost incomprehensible. How could he sleep in the middle of that storm? How could he rest while everything seemed to fall apart? The disciples approached, agitated, confused, terrified. They woke Jesus with a cry that was a mix of desperation and disbelief. "Teacher, don't you care that we are perishing?" It was a deep question. It wasn't just about the boat. It was about fear. About abandonment. About the feeling of being alone in the middle of chaos. If you're enjoying the video, leave a like. Now let's get back to the story. It was a question that still echoes today, in moments when life becomes too turbulent. Jesus got up. Calmly. Unhurried. With the serenity of someone who knows the end from the beginning. He stood up in the boat, faced the storm, and spoke to the wind and the sea. "Peace! Be still!" And immediately, everything calmed down. The wind ceased. The sea grew still. The waves vanished. The storm obeyed. And there was a great calm. A deep silence took over. Not only on the sea, but also in their hearts. The disciples, once overcome by fear, were now filled with awe. They looked at each other and asked, "Who then is this, that even the wind and the sea obey him?" That question, though whispered, carried the weight of revelation. They had already seen miracles. They had already heard powerful words. But now, faced with a miracle over nature, they understood more deeply who was with them. Jesus wasn't just a teacher. He was Lord over everything. Over sickness. Over death. Over the sea. Over fear. How many times, like the disciples, do we also find ourselves in the middle of storms? Sometimes they come without warning. In an unexpected diagnosis. In news that changes everything. In an irreparable loss. In a family crisis. In sleepless nights. In silent tears. In those moments, the boat of life feels too fragile. The waves seem too high. And the heart, too small to endure. And then, like the disciples, we also cry out, "Lord, don't you see? Don't you care that I'm sinking? That I'm tired? That I'm alone?" But the truth is, Jesus is in the boat. He always has been. Even when he seems to be asleep. Even when his silence scares us. He is there. And that changes everything. The presence of Jesus in the boat doesn't stop the storm from coming. But it ensures that it won't have the final word. He may allow the wind to blow. But at the right time, he gets up. He speaks. And when he speaks, even chaos obeys. True faith is not the absence of fear, but the decision to trust even while afraid. It is believing that, even when everything around us says otherwise, Jesus is with us. And that, at the right time, he will rise and give us peace. There are miracles Jesus performs with his hands, others with his voice, others with time. And there are those he performs within us. Silent, deep miracles that don't immediately change our circumstances, but transform our hearts to face them with courage. That day on the Sea of Galilee marked the disciples forever. They reached the other side of the shore not just alive, but transformed. They understood that the God who calms the sea also calms the soul. That the Lord of heaven also governs our days. That true peace doesn't depend on circumstances, but on his presence. And this is the peace he still offers today. In every tear, in every prayer, in every difficult night, he remains the same. The one who calms storms. The one who responds to our cry. The one who invites us to trust. Maybe today your boat is being shaken. Maybe you feel you're about to sink. But don't forget, he is there. He is in the boat. Even if everything seems to collapse, he remains. And if he is there, there is hope. There is a way. There is salvation. Jesus never promised a life without struggles. But he promised his presence. And his presence is enough. Because the presence of Jesus in the boat is the greatest miracle of all. The sea may roar. The sky may darken. The wind may blow strong. But if he is with you, peace will come. And when it comes, you will know, it wasn't the strength of your arm. It wasn't the stability of the boat. It was his presence. It was the miracle of trust. It was the love that never fails. And then, even if the storms return, even if the winds blow again, you will remember, Jesus is in the boat. And that's all you need to know. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Thank you very much for staying with me until here. See you in the next video.